welcome back to our Ellipse Unsealed podcast. Today we have with us a very special guest, Miss Sam Bush. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Guys.
Hey, Sam.
I'm so good. I'm good. Got a busy day today, so you guys are my first call, and then I go all the way till 5:30. So you're getting me at my best.
What a great way to kickstart it with
exactly.
Yeah, people be like, "What got into Sam today? She is just on fire." It's because you spent the morning with Savannah and Bobby.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I think. So
that's great.
And this will be every morning now.
Yeah,
just
a morning, like 5-minute chat.
Yeah, just a 5-minute chat. Get all hyped.
Yeah,
I mean, so far it's been a great kickoff.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
We've been doing our musical warm-ups. We're ready to go.
We're ready to go.
Yeah, we are.
You guys don't know what happens behind scenes before we start this podcast.
You don't. Yeah. But all I have to say is la 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 la. Good times.
Oh gosh. And yeah, Sam, this isn't your first time on, I don't believe, right? You've been on once before.
At least once, maybe twice even.
Yeah. I think last time I was sick or something. I wasn't able to chat with you.
That's right. Excuse me. Yeah, it was Sam and I. Yeah, exactly. You were sick.
Yeah,
and
which
Sam
is
and
a
I
tag team.
marketing. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, of course. Do you want to give the people a little excerpt about who you are before we jump into it?
Sure, yeah. So as many of you know, I am Sam Bush. Couple things about me. I am a podcast host of Ambush on Air. You can check that out. It's about demand generation and marketing within the Microsoft channel. And then I am currently at a company called Sylogist. So just started there a little over 12 days ago, and I've already been on a work trip and have 2 more coming up. So I am rapidly getting ingrained into the Sylogist family as the senior director of marketing. We've got 12 products. We are a Microsoft reseller and an ISV. So really cool kind of space that we're in, and we serve nonprofits and government entities and education.
Man, I love that nonprofit aspect. And I love the use of your name. She dropped the S from Sam Bush and called it Ambush. I was like, I could do that. And it's like, I'll be small. Makes no sense at all. So I was like, I can't do that. Never mind. I got to stick with something else. But you love the branding. It's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. I come by it honestly. My friends in college used to call me Ambush. And you can leave that up to your imagination as to what that was about. So I've always been somebody who's a little bit on the cutting edge, a little bit on the innovation side, and I'm the one with the wacky ideas usually. So it's just part of my nature, and I figured carry it through with the podcast. So
yeah, and I love the color scheme. Have you seen it, Savannah?
I have, yeah. I see it all over LinkedIn. I love it. Yeah.
I had to keep the green. I feel like a lot of you know I was with a company for about 3 years and was famous for my green suits walking around. And I figured, not every company is going to have green in it. So how do I keep on my green clothes? Because I have a whole closet full of just like green suits and skirts and shiny objects,
Yeah. Over the course of your career, all of a sudden you've got you have to keep building closets for the very specific colored wardrobe.
Exactly.
And then you recycle. It's like, I'm back to a green company. Cool.
Exactly. Now I got a whole thing, It is an interesting one because Sylogist, I come onto this brand, and I don't know if you guys know, my like personal life. I'm always in a black t-shirt. Mm-hmm. Any call we have. My new company is navy and orange.
I saw
that.
And
I'm like, oh no, I don't want a navy suit. So we'll see what I end up doing at Community Summit, because I'm kind of between who I'm going to be.
You're having an identity crisis.
Avalera, dive into the orange is tough.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
I did see your post with the like orange cardigan. You're like, okay, I think I can get into this.
Yes.
Like trying it out a little bit. I like that.
Yeah, I was wearing a black dress, and I was like, you know what? I could try to throw on the burnt orange and see if maybe that's the color.
Yeah, just a variation.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. So we'll see.
Well, I'm excited now to see the summit outfit. Round scope or whatever you call it.
It'll be a fashion show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do have some hats I'm giving away that are Ambush on Air hats that are baby pink. So
like trucker caps, like those foamy trucker caps. Nice.
Those are cute. Yeah. I'll be finding.
I might be in line for one of those, by the way.
Yeah, I'm only bringing, I think 15 is what I have right now. So They're limited edition.
That is serious limited edition.
Yeah. But I also have some other fun things up my sleeve, including temporary tattoos.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are always fun, and stickers. I mean, people love those things.
Exactly.
We're talking about Summit. How many years have you gone to Summit? Is it just with that last company? 8 years. Okay, cool.
8 years. I missed 1 year in my career on the marketing Microsoft side. 1 year I missed. But yeah, 8 years. So it's been a long haul. It's been the conference I've been to the most.
Yeah, me too. I actually have been to a couple before, but in the last 10 years, I've gone to every one, with the exception of Houston. I didn't make it to Houston.
Okay.
That was the comeback summit
after
pandemic. But other than that, I've been to everyone since 2014, and then a few before that. So I've probably been to 11 or 12.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting with it too.
And Savannah,
pandemic one.
Oh, yeah, you guys are veterans. This will be my 3rd year.
That's getting into veteran status, though. Yeah, it's getting into status. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's half the battle, is like getting there the first couple of times. And then you become so ingrained in it because you have the reason to sell back to your boss that like you learned something, you gave something. Like it's just such a good community-driven event that is so full of education. So
and we're going to talk about Expo Hall, but first we just thought we'd talk about the craziest story or craziest stories you have at a summit. And I think everybody has one. Even Savannah, who's only been at 3, I think she's got one that she can share. But we'll start with you, Sam.
I have 2, and I don't know if you guys want my one last year or you want one as a throwback that's about my boss at the time who's now retired. Which one?
Let's hear them both. Yeah.
Okay. So my boss at PaceJet, he is retired. He probably won't hear this, but if he does, he probably will not love that I tell this story, but love you, man. You know, I love you. It was our like 2nd year or so going as my company at the time. And my boss knew everyone, every single person would come up and he was the celebrity on the show floor. We went to the party the last night and it was bowling.
Okay.
He loves to bowl, was so excited. They're like raffling something off. So it's pretty quiet in the room. He has a beer in hand and goes to bowl and steps in the bowling lane. So it's slippery and falls flat on his ass or his butt.
Man.
Beep, butt.
PG-13.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, ass is okay. It's we say that all the time. That's an animal. That's a beastly animal you see on the farm.
Yeah.
Fell completely. And the minute he falls, he looks at me and my friend Steve at the both of us are there with him. He hands Steve the beer and he's like, "Don't say a word." And we're like, okay. It's still to this day. I've only talked about it with him once ever, and that was 7 years ago.
I like it. We're dropping juicy gossip from the past. Retro gossip. I love it.
Yes. And I'm like, everyone saw and heard you. So there's like, it was silent in the room and you thought you could just
We'll make sure to tag him in the post when we put this
out. Shout him out. He's been on LinkedIn, I think, 3 times in his retirement. He's really enjoying it. So I don't think
the one thing he'll see.
Right, it's the one time he pops on. Like, what?
Exactly. Okay. And then last year, a lot of you guys know, I have had a series of unfortunate events when it comes to Microsoft events the last 2 years.
We're calling you Lemony Snicket.
Summit last year, I got strep throat and I had to go home 2 days early and it was devastating to me. Yeah, I was like crying getting home. But the problem that really I ran into was I moved my flight up and then I missed it. So I ended up having to drive with swollen eyes, swollen throat, feeling terrible. I had to drive 4 hours from, 3.5 or so from Detroit home because it was like my only option. It was horrible. And all of this is happening when my company at the time was based in California and my approvals and things, I couldn't get them signed off on because they weren't even awake. So I was just like, going on vibes. I'm like, hopefully they pay for this rental car. If not, I gotta get home anyway. So I'm doing it wrong.
You got the stretch, rolls. Yes, they pay for this RR. I gotta get home and style.
Exactly. I gotta lay down. I gotta get some water.
Yeah.
So,
oh man.
Yeah.
Oh,
and on top of having to leave the biggest event, of the year for the company. And that's tough, man.
I mean, and it's like my holy grail event. Like I look forward to it. I literally have a spreadsheet of all my outfits, like ideas. I have a list of everybody I want to meet with. I'm ready.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I'm going to go because I think Savannah, yours kind of leans into our topic. So I'm going to jump in real quick and just give you mine. Because I've got a few, and I don't know how crazy they are, but definitely, there was probably my favorite story. It's not super crazy, but just kind of weird and unique in Vegas, which was one of the few I went to, prior to, my run from 2014.
Mm-hmm.
They had there was a after party somewhere, and they had one of these celebrity impersonators, and they were impersonating the Rat Pack. And so they did, a great job of like Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra singing and cutting up and doing all the things that they did as a group back in the day. And afterwards, when they were done, they were just kind of hanging out. And I spent about an hour talking to Sammy Davis Jr. And it was weird because he would flip in and out of character. Like he would be talking to me as like Phil Johnson 1 minute, and then he would like slip into Sammy Davis Jr. And I was like, what kind of conversation am I having that's going on for an hour? And that might have been my first summit. There was the night of 5 parties in Reno where I just went from, like you said, I was planning, and I planned to party to party to party. And I was like 30 minutes here, an hour here, 30 minutes here. I'm playing blackjack. I'm looking at old cars. It was a nutty night of parties in Reno. Got to see Keith Urban at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville. Nice. That was pretty fun. Not crazy, but fun.
No, so fun.
And I'm sad we didn't get to do our pickleball idea last year, Sam.
I know.
We talked about doing something because we were right across the booth from Sam last year. And we talked about doing something crazy and fun. But the next thing I looked over, I was like, where's pickleball? And you were gone.
And I was
now we know why.
On my deathbed. So.
You were on your deathbed. You were driving on your deathbed in a Rolls Royce from Detroit to your home in Ohio.
I wish it was a Rolls Royce. It was like a Ford Focus.
Same.
Not even. It's just an old 1999 Ford Focus.
Yes, with like the bumper ripped off.
Bumpers ripped off. Yeah. The window won't even close. Savannah, how about you? What's your?
I've probably told this on the pod before, but it was my first summit a couple of years ago, and I didn't know what was going on half the time. I was just vibes only probably, but
smiling and walking around.
Yes. But so the booth, how there's booth cleanup at the end of the expo hall and stuff, and they bring out your pallets and everything, and I was waiting there for like an hour or so and still bringing them out. Waited 2 hours. Ours still wasn't out, but everybody else's was. And so our boss and I were like, well, let's just go get some dinner, and then we'll come back and we'll be here. So we come back. It's still not there. And then we also come back, and like the cleanup crew is like cleaning everything up basically for us. And they must have like gotten into one of our boxes. And if you guys have been to our booth before, we have Microsoft Millionaire normally. And a couple of years ago, we had like $ glasses and like the $ gold chain and like all this stuff.
A money gun that shot money out in the air.
Yes,
I remember that.
Yeah.
And I look around, and these cleaning ladies are just like, I see one with the $ glasses on, and then another one with the gold chain. I'm like, did they just like take our stuff? And long story short, our stuff was just like dispersed everywhere. It took us forever to be able to get out of there, but yeah. That was.
I imagine they're used to people just leaving, like some people just leaving their swags. Like, hey, they probably like boxes and boxes of swag. Yeah.
Or like you weren't taking your booth home because it was maybe like something Freeman built or something. So they're like, let's just get in here.
Yeah.
I just love I love the visual though of just coming back, from dinner and just kind of still, now it's later and just seeing the cleaning crew. Yeah. The one guy shooting money and like guys vacuuming and with his glasses on, Mrs. Doubtfire style, just kind of killing it.
Yes.
Blinging it out on all the money stuff. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. So that's my story.
Yeah. I think my worst conference story ever was I got to a show and our crate was damaged and we were missing like ginormous pieces of the booth. And I ended up I was at the Win, and I ended up having to go down to shipping and receiving and dig around in the boxes and find all the pieces. And by the time I found them all, I had the team like all come meet me, and I handed it all to them. And I was like, good luck, figure it out. I got to go take a nap because I just spent 2 hours digging around shipping and receiving. So working events as a marketer or as a salesperson is not always glamorous.
Yeah.
It's not always the confident Sam, people strutting around in your, your green outfit.
It took a lot of work to get there.
Yeah, I strive for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it can be stressful. I feel like you just have to be like, okay, something's gonna go wrong, roll with the punches. It's probably not that big of a deal.
Never is that big of a deal to anyone but you.
Yes.
There's a party coming up, so you can, there's a party coming up so you can relax and let it all out.
Like Sam said, have some tequila. It'll be all good.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, kind of with the Summit Hall talk or Summit Hall Expo Hall talk. I feel like if you guys have seen Sam's booth before the past year when she was at Expert Logics, you probably noticed like the commercial with folks from The Office and things like that. I feel like
I was at Flowcast.
Flowcast. Sorry.
You're fine. I was like Expert Logic. No, I would love to work there one day.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Hint.
Yeah.
Good. I love my job now. Love it.
Yes.
We're talking years and years.
15.
Maybe someday. Yeah. But anyways, with Flowcast, and I feel like you and Bobby always have great like personal branding. Like we said, you guys are always strutting the purple or the green or maybe blue this year or something.
Blue this year.
Burnt orange.
Do you have like any advice for like having a good marketing strategy for either like your personal brand or your company overall or things like that?
Yeah. So I actually was listening to another podcast by the Marketing Millennials, and they were talking about a couple of these guys who have really built, it's a company called Lavender, built their entire fan base by doing, and user base really, by doing things that are totally unexpected for people below the C-suite. So like I think a lot of us, we really focus on the person who signs the deal. When we're trying to surprise and delight, we're thinking, in my case, the CFO would be the one I'd be talking to. But oftentimes we forget about the influencers in the deal and how we can, surprise and delight them. So they were saying they didn't sponsor an event, but they sponsored a party and they kept the location completely private until the day of. And it was at 10 o'clock till 2 a.m. And they're like, we just want account executives and BDRs to come to this, which is the ideal time to get a BDR at a conference, right? They're exhausted, they're young, they're ready to party. So they rented out an airport hangar and just had this rager with DJs and lights and everything. And I mean, after that show, they were talking some of their stats and it was astronomical because they focused on that unserved buyer. So I think that's something that I'm trying to take into conferences as we do things, is how do you think beyond just that one partner contact you have, or that one, when they walk by and it's a CFO, you talk to just them. Think about your entire buying audience and how you can do something at different levels. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, totally. That foundational, interaction is important. Like you said, at the end of the day, somebody, if you are at the Expo Hall and you're a partner on ISV product, the C-suite's going to sign that deal, right? The CFO, the CTO, somebody like that is going to sign it. But more than likely, it's going to be the accountant or the BDR that's bringing it to them. They're the ones that are using it. They're the ones that are passionate about it.
They're the ones experiencing the pain.
Yeah, and this goes to point. I mean, I was an IT director, and whenever I wanted a project or something, my first role was to the end users, like, hey, how do you guys feel about doing this?
Exactly.
Oh, we'd love that. Cool. Let's all go then to the CEO, not just me going, hey, I want to, because what I would get is like, oh, you just want cool new IT stuff, guy. And I was like, not really. This is important. And here's why. Let me see this throng of people behind me with the pitchforks and wanting to do this, that it's important to get those folks on your side. And the other thing I add, Sam, is that I think, things that we do well, and I just love doing this. Yeah. So if I'm out talking to people, it's 100% earnest. I love talking to people and I love meeting people and learning about them. And so that's part of that, it's not really a forced brand idea. Like, if I just go talk to more people, it's just, I love doing it. And so it just, that's a good thing about, just being in this role, in this position. And then, to your point, I also love, we'll call it peacocking, peahenning, whatever you want to call it. Just, taking that persona of purple. I saw Avalera do this. I saw you do this. Yeah. And Ellipse adopted this, that, hey, this is just another way to show who we are. Like we're evolving it into what is purple. what is, what is burnt orange for you, or what was green?
Exactly.
What does this mean to me? It's kind of like this idea as an organization. We've taken purple, but made it like all these things that we feel that are inherent to our organization and how we conduct business.
Exactly. And like, you can spot the Ellipse team across the room because you know where they're showing up and how they're showing up. And I was doing a podcast with a couple of friends recently, and we were talking about personal brand, and I really built a brand in the Microsoft channel. And I was going through an identity crisis when I quit my last job, because I was like, everyone knows me as the girl in green.
Yeah.
And someone on the call with me was like, actually, they know you for who you are, not the green. And I'm like trying to figure out, like, as I'm approaching this show, I mean, I've got 3 speaking sessions, so I have plenty of times to show up and be myself and be authentic marketing crazy, right? But I'm like, how do I take that green branded Sam and show up differently but the same, if that makes sense?
Totally.
So
I'm going to share with you.
I'm going through.
Yeah, I mean, so step back all the summits I've been to. In the very first iteration of Bobby at these summits wore a bow tie. And I became the bow tie guy. And then at some point I realized I was kind of over bow ties, but I wanted to do hats. And so, it takes some, you got to jump into it and not be afraid. But I started wearing hats, and then all of a sudden I became the hat person.
Yeah.
And then, with Ellipse became the purple person. But what you said is so important. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
People are remembering Sam for Sam or Savannah for Savannah.
Exactly.
And whether or not you've got a boa around your neck or a big,
good idea.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly. We could go crazy, and where, whatever. It just doesn't matter. What matters is what you're bringing, and they'll just it'll associate whatever you decide to associate with it.
Exactly. I just started mentoring someone new, and he was asking, like, what can I do to stand out in this community? I'm like, you can be yourself and figure out what that looks like for you in work. Like, you don't have to be the same as somebody else's branded version. You don't have to be like me, right? You don't have to be like Bobby.
And you don't have to even do something to stand out. Like, you don't have to say, well, you can just be you and not have to, wear like something crazy or, whatever, you just be you, and that's fine too.
Yeah. I think authenticity is the word of the year for me in so many conversations. Like, being yourself and showing up how you feel best is the way to get any sort of recognition and any sort of flow, because you're not putting it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Expo. Go ahead, Savannah.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to say those are some great words of advice. I don't have anything else to add, though, but go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I was going to say, any favorite item? You've been to a lot of conferences. You've a lot. You've been as an Expo Hall, company, or you've been there probably just as a a participant. Anything that stood out as a swag item that you're like, wow, I hope I see one of those again, or I'm definitely getting one of those, or boy, if I ever see one of these again, I'm going to scream.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to be the weirdest marketer when I say this. I hate swag. The only swag I like is for my company when I wear it or my company wears it. I am one of those people that hates the stuffed animals and the like toys you're going to give your kids. I will say I'm going to brag on Sylogist for a second. Because I just did my first show with them in my 12 days of employment. I was in Texas for a very specific niche conference. But what we did instead of a bunch of giveaways was where one of our products, it's Mission CRM and Mission ERP, we work with nonprofits. So what we did at the show is we set up a table for people to pack hygiene kits that we dropped off to a local domestic violence shelter. And I'm like, this is a way for us to spend our marketing dollars, give people an experience, but also give back to the community that we're in. And it sticks with our mission of empowering people. So that I really, really loved. And we're going to do it again at Summit. So swing by. I think our booth is 1143. Yeah.
Awesome.
But we're going to be doing it again this year. But other than that, I'm all for like a really nice cup or mug. Like, I am a water bottle girly, a water cup girly, all of that. So if you've got like a real nice one, or your brand is something kind of fun and spunky, or even better, if it's a limited edition, like if it says, like the ones from Biz App Summit this year that literally say like Biz App Summit first year, like that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. Because in 20 years, when I'm looking back on my Microsoft career, I want to look and laugh at like all the stages of that stuff.
The hall of water bottles in your house. Next to you have your closet of colors, and then it moves into the hall of water bottles, and you can just walk through. And as you walk by, the light lights up, and then
it's like,
that's something number one.
Yes,
we did. Was it last year? We did the mugs with the mute. Sorry, you're on mute. Was that Tech Connect? I can't remember.
I've seen them, but I don't have one of those.
I think we might have given them out as like Christmas presents or something.
Mugs, I knew we had mugs, but I thought we had water bottles too, like steel bottles for something. No,
that's a good idea though.
Yeah. I agree, Sam. I'm not a swag, a collector. I'm happy to give the swag away. I'm not a collector.
Yeah.
If I do grab something, usually I'm a sticker collector, so I'll grab stickers and because I take those and I give them away, especially if they're cool ones that aren't like really like just like buy my stuff. But if we've done something fun, like Ellipse has done some fun,
very fun,
quippy sayings that you it's like, oh yeah, I definitely would put that on something, a water bottle or my laptop. Sun Bum, which is a skincare outdoor product. I went to an outdoor show here in Colorado a while back, and they had just all the coolest stickers. They were not, they didn't say Sun Bum on it. It's just really cool sayings and really kind of retro 70s colors and fonts. Cool. And so I grabbed a bunch of those, and mints. That's the other thing.
Mints is a win.
I'll take a mint for a win, just because you never know. And you don't want to be that person, with wine breath and like appetizer breath. And, he's got to keep popping those mints. So those are definitely
coffee
a handy breath, sweat. Yeah. Oh yeah, because you're just downing coffee at every turn.
To stay alive.
Just every time you walk by, I got a cup of coffee, but I walk by a coffee station. I need another one. Of course,
let me fill that
up. So definitely the mints are things I grab. It. How about you, Savannah?
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I'm not a big swag girl either. I was gonna say the same thing, Bobby, about the mints, which I know like aren't the best like branding item for marketers, obviously. Which is totally fine though. People need them, like you said. I don't really grab much else, honestly. Sam, like you're saying too, I like the stuff like that we have, like the stickers and stuff. I think we do like a decent job of really thinking about like, do people actually use this, or is this just gonna go in the trash? Hopefully, but hopefully not. But yeah.
And I do like the giveaway idea. That's awesome. You rarely see that. I think I've seen it a couple times, and I always think that's just a cool way to go about it. Just like you said, you're still getting booth attention, but you're giving back.
Conversations.
And I think, and they're going to be those swag folks that are going to be like, oh, you don't have a sticker? Okay, whatever.
Those people don't like me. I'm like, they're like, go ahead and scan me. I'm going to take one of these. And I'm like, are you a CFO or a controller or an accountant? And they're like, no. And I'm like, then I'm not scanning you. Just take this stupid thing. But I think that's just my like mindset of like, it's so expensive to bring swag to stuff. And if it's just going to be taken and not, I don't know. It's a whole thing. Everybody has a different feeling about swag, and like, we'll have swag at our booth because that's what we do. Right. Yeah. But in a perfect world, I would probably not. Like, I've been to a couple outside of Microsoft channel shows that you're not allowed to bring swag.
We did one for public sector where you have to be careful. You can't You can only be very demure and mindful about your swag opportunities.
Very mindful.
Yeah, very mindful. Stickers, they're so demure.
Yeah.
Koozies are not mindful. Yeah. So you got to be careful, because public sector, they can't take certain amount of dollar gifts or whatever. They have to start. Then they won't do it because they have to like do a little.
They have to like write it down.
You have to write it down. Yeah, if you talk to them for too long, you're like, well, I got to put that down.
Exactly.
So it's very, very different.
Yeah, night and day.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing we have for the expo hall. Do you guys come in with like a strategy or a plan? Sam, I know you were talking about, you map out all of your outfits and maybe like the booths you want to hit up or the people you want to hit up. Can you tell us more like what that looks like for you, or any advice?
Yeah. I have a very elaborate way that I go to events, and Sylogist, we're not there yet because I just started. But my typical is I will do a whole spreadsheet that I send out to the partnerships team, because again, Microsoft is about partners, right? I love customers, I love prospects, can't wait to see them, but I need amplifiers. So what I do is I take a whole list and I in here say, like, I know we want to get in front of Solver. They're an existing partner of ours. Here are the contacts I have. And then I give them to my BDR and I say, can you set up some meetings for me while I'm there with some of these people?
Yeah.
And let me know which ones you get and which ones you don't. CC me on the email, but please help me get some meetings scheduled.
Yeah.
And I will prioritize them by, my tier ones that maybe aren't partners that I need as partners, or ones that were just beginning and I want to spend some marketing conversation time with. Or I have a list that's like, can you see if they're sending marketing people? So that's how I do kind of that side of it. And then I typically have a pretty elaborate booth etiquette conversation, which is basically I make the sales team and the marketing team, whoever is going, commit to goals on paper, and they have to actually verbally say they agree to doing what they say they're going to do. And then at the end of every single day, I basically do a high and low from each person that I document. And then I say, tomorrow we've got this on the schedule, this on the schedule, this on the schedule. How did your meetings go? You said you were meeting with this, and this. I make everybody recap because I'm like, you're expensive to send to a show. On average, it costs about $3,000 to send someone to a conference, give or take. So I'm like, if you say you're going to go and you're just going to check it out, I'd rather have somebody go who's like, I have these plans and intentions. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm a strict event girl.
That's a great call out because I think we've had this internal conversation. If you just send a couple of sales knuckleheads, they're not going to do that.
No,
they're going to get off track, and you need a good, administrator, like a Savannah or a Sam, or, to be there.
I'm taking all the notes from Sam. Definitely.
I love it. Savannah will do this from afar. Yeah, she'll I'll get text from her. It's like, did you take pictures? Have you done this? And so she's trying her best, but it's different than being
when
there.
You're
and
on site, it's so much easier. And I'm a big proponent of sending a marketing person at any level to an event if I can. So if I can figure out a reason to have one pass allocated, I'm doing it, because they're the ones clocking what's going on. They're making sure the notes are in the scanner correctly. And it's not like I get a lead list back and it just says these are high quality leads, but no notes. That's my biggest nightmare.
Yeah. Savannah's having PTSD right now. Terrible experiences from
all of our.
You've got that because to be fair, a salesperson also is really dialed in on making those connections, and your brain is in a different place, and you need that other level of structure that Savannah and Sam are going to bring to say, hey, you're doing great out there, but I do need better notes because you're going to forget all this a week from now when we get back to do a decompression on what we just learned and what how we need to follow up. You're going to remember, it's too hard. Definitely hit those notes right away. And don't forget to do this. And don't forget, you need to be at the booth. You said you'd be there, so you can't flake out because you're off having a drink somewhere. You've got to be at the booth and do everything we've talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a big proponent of talk to text on notes. So as soon as somebody walks away from the booth and you talk to them, I will call you out and be like, talk to the phone right now and put that all in there.
That should be a Sam Bush sticker. Talk to the phone.
Talk to the phone. I want to see you at the booth in the corner like this.
Right. Is he talking to himself? No, he's taking care of business. He TCB over there. Let him be.
Exactly.
Goodness.
I love it.
Funny.
Those are all great.
I'm going to give you my quick 2 cents in that I've been there as a user and I've been there as a partner. And so two different strategies for me. As a user, I was there to talk to ISVs mostly and partners too, for lots of different reasons. So I usually had a game plan like you. I'm a big spreadsheet planner. I would know who I'm going to see. I want to see XXX Flowcast and this partner and Ellipse, and then I'm going to plan some serendipitous moments, just kind of flit about and avoid swag, like I said, but also just kind of see who's there and I didn't know they were there. I want to talk to this person and just do some general, just kind of in the spur of the moment piece. And then as a partner, kind of piggybacking on what you were doing from your side, hey, I want to talk to partners or other ISVs. I was also doing that. So the last summit, I think every moment of my day was planned out with meetings I had scheduled leading up to it. So it was I want to make sure I talk to this ISV and learn more about them and talk to this partner and this person. And so I was going from meeting to meeting to meeting and booth time and meeting. But even that, I think most of my booth time was pretty limited. I think, I was out and about most of the days.
Bobby was always running around. It's like, where's Bobby? Oh, there he goes. See ya.
just kind of, every once in a while I'd stop back by and check in, but I was just really, really, completely scheduled out because I had, I had an agenda because I needed to talk, because this was the benefit of these events, these giant conferences, is everybody's together. So you don't have to spend, and you're doing it in person. And it's just, there's great benefit to just like being prepared to, hey, I know I've got all these people in one place. I need to talk to them. I need to make deeper connection. I need to do all these things in one place. And this is the time to do it. And not get swept up, because otherwise you get swept up and you'll realize what just happened. I showed up on Monday and it's Thursday and I didn't talk to anybody.
Exactly. Yeah. I know. I told my now boss, was like, if we could allocate a pass for someone in marketing, we should, because it's not me. Like, I'm going to be at the booth 10 minutes a day, and that's the morning to make sure everything's okay, in the evening to make sure everything's okay. And he's like, are you serious? And I'm like, I'm dead serious. Wait till you see me. I'm not at the booth. I am in sessions. I am running around. I am hanging out with my friends. I am, exchanging some, contracts and things like that. But yeah, the problem is it overlaps with Canadian Thanksgiving.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do they turkey? Is there a feast? Should we be prepared for would that be a great booth?
I did think about it.
We should do just plan for a Canadian Thanksgiving at some point. Yeah, just again, I have to do some research on what they eat. Yeah,
maybe next year, because my lead time on this event's only been 12 days. So
I like that. That's part of your 12 days of Sam's lead up song. Preparing for Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I love it.
On the 9th day of Sam's 12th day,
I was in Texas at a jail convention. Which I was.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, love those are all great notes that I'm definitely going to implement or try to implement for this year. So, I think that's all we had for marketing and I do want to know, Sam is also hosting a ton of sessions on marketing and things like that. I'm planning to go to a lot of them. My manager was like, pick out a few sessions you want to go to and things like that. So I was looking through and I sent them over and he's like, you picked 4 Sam Bush sessions? I was like, yeah, I did it.
Yes.
So,
I am excited. It's a little more than I maybe bargained for, but I'm excited. So I'm doing marketing to generations with Kate and Mary Miller, Kate Coffee, Mary Miller, which is an iteration of a series we've done this year. I also have one that is about social proof and customer experience and journey and conversation with Khalid, Amy, and Mary Miller as well. So big variety of people there. And then I have one that I haven't done yet that's going to be brand new, that is about AI prompting for marketers.
Nice.
I'm working on that deck right now and it's really coming to life and I'm very excited. So
that's great. I mean, prompting is, AI is great, but if you just say, tell me something, you get back this vanilla response. You need to, it needs to be you need to realize you could keep digging, being polite, as we talked about somewhere in this conversation, be polite with your AI, but just digging and giving it more to work with, because the more you give it, the better. And those prompts are important.
Exactly. And I've seen some terrible ones in my time with other younger marketers, or maybe ones that are a little adverse to AI, which has been interesting. So I'm like, let's just go over how to do this. So I'm excited.
Cool.
Very excited to be attending those sessions. You'll be seeing lots of me, I'm sure.
Yay. I can't wait.
Yeah.
She's a stan.
Yeah.
Love it.
You come with signs like this.
You can wear the hat. I'll give you one of my hats.
Yes, perfect. Cool. And then Sam, to end out our episodes, we've been just doing some fun questions to end on a fun note. So if you're ready for it, I'll hammer those out. The first one being, what character from The Office do you most identify with?
You guys, I have a horrible thing to say. I can say it now that I don't work at Flowcast. I've only watched 1 episode of The Office ever.
It's an interesting show. It took me a while to like it. Watching it the first couple of times, I did not like it. And it took a while to get with the characters and feel the characters.
It's not my kind of humor. I'm more of It's Always Sunny and in that sort of. I like Workaholics, if that sticks out to anybody. That's my humor.
Okay.
So
Well,
unfortunately,
what would your Sunny in Philadelphia character twin be?
Oh my gosh.
Do you know that show, Savannah? I've only seen a couple episodes, and I know the characters, and I kind of know the gist, but I haven't watched.
I've watched a couple episodes, not enough to like know about the characters.
I know, and I'm trying to think like who is my favorite. It's probably Dennis, but that's like unfortunate. Yeah, let me noodle on that and put it in the comments. I've got to think on that.
I love it. It'll be a rebound. So when we drop this, you will be ready and prepared with not just a name, but a bio and some.
It's going to be like a whole like here's why. Yeah.
You're gonna build the AI prompt to tell you why you're like this character.
My co-pilot that's stuck on my screen's already doing it.
Perfect.
It's been listening the whole time. It's like, I got you.
Exactly. It's like, thank you for asking.
Yeah. So you thought of this question. So you might know your answer already. I'm going to think about it for a little bit more as you're answering.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So The Office. I would probably say Pam Beesly. That's like so basic, but I feel like everyone thinks of themselves as like one of the main characters. Yeah. I feel like I can be like, I feel like at the beginning of the show, Pam was like a little more quiet and things. But I feel like once you get to know her more, she's more outgoing. I feel like that's how I can kind of be at times. Mm-hmm. So, that's my reasoning.
I definitely have a mix. I'm trying to think it through, and I'm going through all the characters.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a Michael. I'm not an Andy. I'm kind of a Jim. But I'm going to go with a Daryl. I think I'm a little more slyer than Jim, and I like Daryl a lot. He's got a good sense of humor.
That is.
Yeah, he's underrated.
He's Craig. His name is Craig. Robinson. The comedian. Yeah, he's Daryl. Yeah, he's the warehouse guy, and funny dude. I like him and like his sense of style in that show. So I'm going to go with the Daryl.
Yeah. Very
nice. Do you guys watch New Girl at all?
I did, yeah. I number of years. I don't think I watched it all the way to the very end, but I watched probably the first 3 seasons. Yeah, for sure.
That is like my comfort, like background show. And in college, we had like a PowerPoint night, and one of my roommates did like who in the house is what character.
Oh, that's fun.
In my head, I've done this for like our sales and marketing team, Bobby.
Yeah.
I feel like Brent obviously has to be Schmidt because he's like the marketing guy or whatever.
Yeah. He doesn't short enough words though. Like he doesn't call things like the gloves or he's not going.
I can't imagine him doing that actually. So off-putting.
Oh gosh. But yeah, I got placed as Nick Miller in our college house.
Okay. That's interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
That's who I would aspire to be, I think, just from like seeing maybe 1 or 2 episodes here and there.
Yeah.
But I'm like a fantasy and teen romance TV show girl. So like Vampire Diaries, that's my like comfort show. Or
did you watch Once?
I did watch Once from start to finish. Multiple
And what about Grimm? Grimm is another one I watched.
Okay, stop it. You are.
I loved the Blue
You
Blottons,
and me were destined to be friends. That is my favorite show. I never tell people that because people look at me so weird. I was watching it last night while I was working on this AI deck. So
it was perfectly cheesy, but also a little scary and dramatic and funny. Yes. I mean, it had everything. Yeah, you gotta watch Grimm. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm like, that was special effects done in the like early 2000s. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's not
bad. Yeah,
it's like Buffy Vampire Slayer. Now that's the good stuff. But again, it's a whole separate episode. Grimm. That really just made my day.
Goodness. Yeah, I'll have to look into this. I always hear about Vampire Diaries, but I've never watched it yet. So cool. And then the next question I have is football's back. What are you bringing to the tailgate?
What am I bringing to the tailgate? Okay, I don't eat dairy, so it really eliminates a lot of fun stuff. But what I really actually bring is like a nice IPA, maybe a Jello shot. Maybe a Bloody Mary, depending on the time of day. I make a mean Bloody Mary from scratch. Yeah. So
nice.
Those are my options.
Those all sound good.
I definitely bring the wing. I make a mean baked wing. It's not overwrought. It's not too greasy. It's perfectly spiced. Nice. I can do them gluten-free because the gluten-free flour works well. And keeps them crunchy. And yes, I'll go wing. And then I'll do a sauce on the side. Like I love making a habanero, fruit sauce. It could be peach or apricot or something, but just kind of working that. And it's never the same because I don't do recipes. I just do feel. So I'll throw stuff in a pot until it tastes good. And then I bring it and it's like, how do you make this? Like, I don't know. I'll do it again next time with a different.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the best recipes though. That sounds delicious. I personally love some buffalo chicken dip. And I love like the Sam Adams like Oktoberfest beer. I'll also be bringing that. So those were for me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Those are all the questions we have. Kind of running out of time here, but Sam, thanks for sharing all of your knowledge, and we can't wait to see you at Summit this year.
I can't wait either.
What booth is
Sylogist? It's hard to say. I kept calling it Silogist for a while, and then I was like, "Don't be so phonetical."
Sylogist.
1143.
1143.
That's me. It's me.
Perfect. We'll be there. We'll be at your sessions. Ellipse Solutions also has a booth. We'll be at booth number 917. We got some blackjack this year. We're trading the millionaire for blackjack. So if you want to, if you have an itch to gamble, you know where to find us.
I know exactly where to find you. You're by my friends at Vertec and Chipotle.
Yeah, so we're right next to Chipotle. I was just talking to them the other day. I was like, we're right there in Vertec.
You're really in a sweet spot.
Yeah, we got a pretty good, and those are all really good ISV friends of ours. So it's going to be a party aisle. Yeah, it could be crazy. Yeah,
we should have a block party.
Exactly. I think we'll go to the signs and block off the aisle. Just
we got to do better about planning our positioning.
Seriously.
Next year, this one was a rogue one because it didn't choose somebody else.
Got to plan it out. Yeah, next year goals.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me on today. I had a great time giggling and laughing and talking about all of the fun things. So
me too. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
All ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Get warmed up. Do some stretches.
Yep. That's the way I stretch.
Yes.
Dancing.
Get your groove on.
Exactly. Get my morning dew fixed a little bit.